Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem, Racha Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is, Who are the E's? The Cursed People, the Hunter. In this segment of the lesson, Lord's will, we're going to examine another trait of Esau, the Edomites. And no matter how many times you go over this stuff, you know, you're going to have your naysayers, your yay sayers, and whatever the case may be. But we're not concerned with that. We're just concerned with the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai to teach this word, continuously break down strongholds, and wait for the Lord to take this place out and to vindicate us, so to speak, you know, and to make it known who are his chosen, because that's definitely what the Lord said he would do. Then shall be known who are my chosen. So we're going to go back to Genesis 25. We're going to read the 25th verse, and then we're going to read on down again. Been dealing with the scoffer on the comment boards, which I had to finally block because he ain't gonna get it. And you know, you always have these crusaders for Esau. You know, there's all kind of nations in the scriptures, but for some reason they find themselves in the driver's seat of being a crusader for these Edomites. It's unbelievable. Salaki for a minute. I'm going to say it like this. That's the pure definition of Stockholm Syndrome. So Genesis 25:25, and the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they call his name Esau. If you want to know the breakdown to that, go to the other videos, which we covered that already. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel. So we read up above earlier that the elder shall serve the younger, that there will be two manner of people separated from Rebekah's bowels, right? So if Jacob is the righteous, then what would that make Esau? Because you got some individuals out there that don't understand that. It said two nations. It didn't say one would be wicked. What does two manner of people mean? Meaning two distinct people. So if one is righteous, the other is wicked. It says, and his name was called Jacob. Now Jacob's name was from the Hebrew word Ya'iqab. The word Ya'iqab means supplanter. A supplanter is somebody that pretty much gets over on you. You know, like when he supplanted Esau for his birthright, then he supplanted Esau for his, you know, for his blessing. Now, was Jacob wicked for that? No, because that's what the prophecy said, and the Most High is not going to go back on his word. He said that the elder shall serve the younger. That's just point blank, because the right of inheritance by right, according to the scriptures, is supposed to go to the firstborn. But in this case, the Lord flipped it a different way. This is his movie. He could do whatever he wants to do. It says, and Isaac was 60 years old, meaning he was 60, because a score is 20. 60, 2 times 3 is 6. Score is 20. So that would be, 60 is 60. So a score is 20. 20 times 3 is 60. Years old when she bare them. So he was 60 years old when they were born. So they were babies. So that just shows you, man, today you get to around 50, you know, in your 40s, 50s, you know, early 60s, you know, in this society, the way that things are, and a lot of men are starting to become sterile, you know, because of the foods and the, you know, and the different pollutants and free radicals and poisons and things that are chemicals that are in the food, in the air, in the water, so on and so forth. Noah started having children when he was 500 years old. You know what I'm saying? So, come on, man. 500 years old. You know? I mean, he dropping it at 500 years old, getting busy. It says, and the boys grew, and Esau was what? A cunning hunter. So we're going to examine that in this lesson, the cunning hunter part. A man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. Right, he was a plain man, meaning he was just laid back, chill, you know. He wasn't, super hairy, but he was a laid back man. So let's examine these two words here, and then let's move on. It says dwelling in tents. All right. So let's go to first to the word cunning. Cunning is yadai, which means to know. And the word cunning just simply means someone that's very, clever. Just trying to see if I see the word cunning. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me go back. Let's do it like this. Cunning, having or showing skill in achieving one's ends by deceit or evasion, attractive or quaint, So it's being clever, but it could be used in a deceitful manner. In the case of Esau being a cunning hunter, he's very clever, in catching prey. And we're going to show you hunter, right? Let's go to the word hunter. The word there is tazayad. Tazayad. Hunting, game hunted. Yeah, game is what? This is the prey. The different deer and elk and buffalo and things that, you would hunt. Game hunted, provision, food supply. So he was a very cunning hunter, meaning he was very clever in approaching the whole hunting game. All right. Now, that's not to say that you don't have hunters among the other nations, because here you could see it now. You could have these clowns. Well, all nations have hunters among them. Yes, they do. So we're going to cover that also. So let's just see this. It said Jacob was a plain man. Plain is the word thumb. Perfect, complete, perfect. Right. So wait a minute. So that means that he was righteous, right? If you were perfect and complete, that means he was righteous, right? And then we go to Malachi, the first chapter. It tells us that Esau or the Edomites are the borders of wickedness. So what don't these people out here get? That one boy was the righteous and another was the wicked. Because they say, well, no, Israel ain't the righteous, man, because, they was going out, they was sinning, they were doing this, they were doing that. Yeah, but we're talking about Jacob. We're talking about Jacob and Esau. Yeah, that's how the nation is, because the nation was set up that way to go off on purpose because they had that malignant root in them. Until the promise of the Lord comes to deliver, change us, insert his laws into our inward parts, then we'll be perfect. So I'm reading here that he was perfect, complete. One who lacks nothing in physical strength, beauty, etc. Sound, wholesome, an ordinary, quiet sort of person, complete, morally innocent. Does righteous is innocent a synonym of righteousness? I don't know. It says having integrity, which Esau did not have. That's why it said, hold it now. Let's go to Hebrews real quick. Hebrews 12, he didn't have integrity. Hebrews 12 and 16. It says, lest there be any fornicator, meaning adulterer, or profane person, meaning outside of the temple. Esau was created to be the profane people. That's why it says that these are the people that the Lord has indignation forever. They were the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction. The wicked were created for the day of wrath. How much plainer does the scripture have to say that to show you that these Edomites are the wicked. It says, as Esau. So it went to identify. It didn't just mention, the Apostle Paul didn't just mention, a statement, but he actually named names. As Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. So he had no what? No integrity. He had no integrity. For you know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he started carefully with tears. Yeah, because he sold his birthright. But it was all set up that way. It was all set up that way in the spirit, because the prophecy said that the elder shall serve the younger. Okay? So, going back. Having integrity, one who is morally and ethically pure. Right. That's what? Righteous. You know what? Let's see something. Let's see if we could. Let's see. Let's read the judgment. Inside joke. All right. Innocent, right? We're going to look up innocent synonyms. Guiltless. Guilt-free. Not guilty. Blameless. Not to blame. In the clear. Unimpeachable. Unreproachable. Above suspicion. Virtuous. Pure. Sinless. Which is what? Righteous. Free of sin. Moral. Decent. Righteous. So the man was righteous. Okay? Now, let's look up the word. The definition for the word wicked, man. It says wicked, evil or morally wrong. He was evil. Evil. I don't know if the brother Hawad is on here. Intended to or capable of harming someone or something. Come on, man. And if you look at these devils, man, they look demonic and devious. Like they're always up to no good. You could see it in the demonic floating eyes in their head, that they have these bad intentions. We're gonna call them bad intention E. They no good. They no good. Inside joke. So we read that Jacob was a plain man, and we read that the plain and the different words that they use was synonymous with righteous. Esau called the wicked. All right. Now, I typed up the word hunting. Now, what do you see for hunting? You see pictures. You could do it yourself. You see pictures of what? Edomites. But now, lo and behold, what do we have here? We have a Hamite. Like I said, that's not to say that the other nations don't have hunters among them. All right? Because when you go back to Genesis chapter 10, one of the sons of Ham, whose name was Cush, and by the way, the word Ham comes from the Hebrew word chum. That's C-H-A-A-M. Chum, which means hot. The name Africa, or Phrygus. Is no or not. Phrygus is where you get the word Frigidaire, or cold, not cold. So the name Ham and Africa are synonymous, even though that's not their name. That was named after Edomite, but just to point that out. Now, scroll down, right? Or should I say scroll up? Scroll up. Genesis 10:8. And Cush begat Nimrod. Right? Nimrod is the centerpiece for a lot of these what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of these there's a word for it. I can't think of it right now. If the Spirit brings it back, I'll bring it out. But these different religions going back to the beginning of time. He is a centerpiece of those religions. Every time you read about the Trinity, it has something to do with Nimrod, Semiramis, and Tammuz. Different time periods, different names, depending on what nation was ruling at the time in the language that they spoke. But it all goes back to Nimrod, Semiramis, and Tammuz. It says, he began to be a mighty one in the earth. This word mighty should be Gabar or Gabawar. Yep, Gabawar or Gabar, as you can see here, Gabar, which means warrior. So he began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord, wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. So he was a hunter also. So you did have hunters among the nations. But when you look at the skill and the epitome of hunting, no one is more skillful in this art than these Edomites, these so-called white people. And we're going to show you that. So now let's go over here. Like I said, I typed in hunting. Because if you type in hunter, it's going to give you a movie or a series. So you look at these pictures, and the majority of these pictures are who? They're Edomites. You know? They're Edomites that their main thing is what? Hunting. Sometimes you'll see pictures with them and their children. Sometimes you see the whole family out there, wife, son, daughter, nieces, nephews, uncles, out there hunting. This is their gift. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no, I got it. This is their gift. All right. Now, what I did was I typed in on Google, and I typed in who are the best hunters or the top hunters on the planet, right? And this is what came up. 30 of the most legendary hunters of all time. These hunters were some of the best out there. Now, this is Teddy Roosevelt. They're just showing you a picture of him, Teddy Roosevelt. And he was one of them, but he wasn't the top one. He was among the top, but he was one of them. What is he? He's an Edomite. He's an Edomite. Then you have another Edomite. This is my main man, Wolfman Jack. No, just inside joke. Ben Lilly. Now, keep in mind, I put this in the description box case, but I didn't really read any of this. I just kind of just found this, and I said, you know what? Because I was going to do it during the lesson, but, the Spirit had it to where I just typed that in, and I said, you know what? Let me just go through it and look. Boom. Lo and behold. Ben Lilly. What do you got here? Another Edomite. Jack O'Connor. What do we have here? Another Edomite. Jim Corbett or Corbett, depending on how you pronounce it. What do we have here? Lo and behold, another Edomite. Ernest Hemingway, which he wrote novels. If I'm not mistaken, he was one of Ezra Pound's proteges. I hope I used that word correctly. There you go. Ernest Hemingway. Boom. Lo and behold, your main man, Wolfman Jack here. Theodore Roosevelt or Teddy Roosevelt. Scroll down. What do we have there? Davy Crockett, king of the wild frontier. Davy Crockett. Then we go down. What do we have here? Lo and behold, Daniel Boone. Daniel Boone. These are Edomites, Ak. What do we have here? What's this? This is my main man, Iqbal Mauladad Bali. So I don't know if he might be an Elamite or he might be a Ishmaelite. Kind of looks like an Elamite. And like I said, you're going to have hunters among the nations. But so far, we went through at least a good 5, 6, or 7 pictures that were all Edomites. And we got one Elamite. Right? Scroll down. What do we have here? Lo and behold, another Edom. Howard Hill. Boom. Scroll again. What do we have here? What's this? What's this? Another Edomite. Philip Hope Percival. That's my main man, Percy. Then we scroll down. What do we have? Another Edomite with looks like a monocle, which is a one-eye glass. Colonel John Henry Patterson. Scroll down. What do we have? We got 2 Edomites. Saxton Pope. I don't know which one is Saxton Pope. I don't know which one it is, but nevertheless, they're both Edomites. So one of these devils is Saxton Pope. Scroll down. 2 more Edomites. Art Young. I'm guessing by the picture that this got to be Art Young because he's the one that got the bow and arrow in his hand. And they're skillful in their craft. Going back to their blessing. And Lord's will, we can cover that in another lesson. Scroll down. Now this is I'm not sure if he's a Gadite. His name is Ishi, which Ishi is Ayasha, which is my man. So he was Yahi tribe. So like I said, I'm not sure if, I'm pretty sure he got to be like either Gadite or Reubenite. And you had cunning hunters among the tribes, because you had those that would go out and hunt for food, you know. But the point is that we must have seen at least 10 or more pictures here of the top hunters on the planet, and so far the majority of them have been Edomites, so-called white people. It's been 2, one Elamite and this either Gadite or Reubenite. All right. Scroll down. What do you have? Lo and behold, 2 more Edomites. Aldo Leopold. I'm not sure which one is which. Scroll down. Oh, wait a minute. What do we have here? Another Edomite. William Cody Buffalo Bill. He's an Edomite, Doc. Oh, scrolling down. 2 more Edomites. Harry Selby. Which I don't know who's who. I'm thinking this might be him, but then again, I don't know. Harry Selby, another Edomite. Scroll down. 2 more Edomites. And they caught a bird with an arrow. Both of them. William John Compton, Chief Compton. Oh, what is this? Another Edomite. Frederick Courtney Sellis. Oh, what's that? Another Edomite. George Nidever or Nidever. Scroll down. And we have W.D.M. Bell, which that's an Edomite. It's just a picture of him. They probably don't have any actual photos of the dude. Scroll down. What do we have? Another Edomite. Fred Baird, 1902 to 1988. What? Another Edomite. Jedediah Strong Smith. Scroll down. Another Edomite. Chuck Adams. Scroll down. Another Edomite. John Pandoro Taylor. Wait a minute. What's that? What's this? That's another Edomite. Christopher Kit Carson. Scroll down. You have another Edomite. Peter Capstick. Another Edomite. Jim Bridger. Another Edomite. This is Winston Churchill. He was a famous figure, and he was one of the top hunters. Another Edomite. R.J. Cunningham. And that was all 30 of them. So out of all 30 of them, you had 28 Edomites, and you had 1 Elamite and 1 Jake. One either Gadite or Reubenite. So what's the moral of the story here? That the top hunters on the planet Earth are Edomites. You do have hunters among the other nations, but the top hunters are Edomites. Here goes another Hamite. See? With a monkey on his back. See? Look at it. You got women. Edomite women. Another Edomite woman. And I'm pretty sure if I typed in hunting children, I'm pretty sure something else will come up with a bunch of Edomite kids. So the point of the matter is that when the scriptures say he was a clever hunter, a cunning hunter, this fits these Edomites. There you go, children. Goes looks like a man and his either daughter or son. Here goes another kid. Right here. See? These are all Edomites. And this is what the scriptures talk about, that he's a cunning hunter. So going back, it says, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. You see? And that's why we know that Jake are mama's boys, you know? So it says, and Jacob sod pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. Yeah, because he came from what? From hunting, and he didn't catch anything. So Jacob was cooking, because this is what the Lord, how the Lord set it up. That here it is. He's a cunning hunter, but that particular day, the Most High made it to where he couldn't catch nothing, no matter what. Why? Because that was the setup. The Most High set that devil up. That was the ultimate setup. So when we go to Psalms 124:6, blessed be the Lord who hath not given us as a prey to their teeth. To who? To the proud waters. Because they're setting all types of traps out here. They're not only clever in setting traps for actual animals, but they're actually clever in setting traps for people. That's where you got your Psalms 10. You have your Psalms 64. Psalms 63, I believe it is, or 64. 63, where they consult to cast him down from his excellency, or 62, one of those. So they're clever in trapping on many different levels, both physical, physically for animals and physically for people, or even mentally. That's what they were set up for. They were set up as deceivers. That's why it says that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. It said, if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not. And then the scriptures also say that the prey departeth not. We're still in these devils' hands. And he set up a system, going back to the so-called Emancipation Proclamation, going back to the 13th and the 14th Amendment, to where he caused the physical chains to come off Judah, but put mental chains on the people, especially the Israelites, through his contracts. And this is why everything that they do, that's why scriptures speak about. Let's go real quick to Isaiah chapter 10 and 1. It says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. Why? Because this is how they trap people into captivity, into slavery. Let me get this other precept before I forget it. All right? But that is their gift. And why do they do this? Why do they put these laws, these grievous laws on the books? To turn aside the needy from judgment. That's why the prophet Habakkuk, in Habakkuk, the first chapter, and 1, the burden which Habakkuk the prophet did see concerning who? You see right there, it says Judah. And these Chaldeans are the modern day Chaldeans, is Esau today. It says, O Lord, how long shall I cry and thou wilt not hear? Even cry out unto thee of violence, and thou wilt not save. Why dost thou show me iniquity, and cause me to behold grievance? Right, because this is why in the book of Malachi it says, how pretty much is, it says, how have you loved us, pretty much. Here it is, the Lord said he loved Jacob, but look at the condition that we find ourselves in. So how is that love? But then when you really understand what love truly is, according to the scriptures, you understand that, that is true love is measured by correction. You know how the deeper you love someone, the more harder you are on the correction upon them, because you expect better from them. And that's pretty much, where we're at with it, because we were given the instruction book, but we weren't given the ability to keep it. That's why I said finding fault with them. That's why there's a second covenant has to be made. All right. So it says, for spoiling and violence are before me, and there are that raise up strife and contention. Right. And that's what it is. Spoiling is robbing, and violence. They're all around us. It says, and there are that raise up strife and contention. That's dealing with Esau. That strife and contention is coming by what? By way of these contracts that they set up. Because the 13th Amendment says that neither involuntary servitude shall exist in the United States. You can't force someone to become a slave. But then it says, except for some type of criminal activity. I don't know the whole quote off the top. And that's why when they put that in there, that clause in there, they set up traps for Jake to become. There's a documentary I call The 13th, I think it's called. It's dealing with the 13th Amendment and their use of it to put Jake into these prisons. Because that's pretty much what it was for, to make them servants and slaves. That's why when you go to prison, you have no rights. And you have to pretty much work for slave labors. It says, therefore the law is slacked. See, when it comes to us, the law is slacked. They don't give us a full measure as far as, justification. We get the short end of the stick every time. It says, and judgment doth never go forth. Why? For the wicked doth compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceeded. Yeah, because you have the wicked in power. And who are the wicked according to the scriptures? Esau, the so-called white man. All right. So going back to Isaiah, it says to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows might be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless, because they're constantly either physically hunting animals or through legislation hunting the people of the Most High. And that's why there's going to be a great insurrection, because they're going to call in the debts. So when we go to Revelation 13 and 11, and behold, another beast coming up out of the earth, which is America, the revival of the ancient Roman Empire. And he had two horns like a lamb, right? Because they appear to be harmless. You have your two-party, your bipartisan parties, which is two parties, which is really a one-party system. They act like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Why? Because that goes into their legislation. And once the legislation is on the book, they don't play around with that. And when you look up the word dragon, it goes back to the word dracon, which goes back to Draco, which was an Athenian lawgiver that was known for a severe punishment, even for breaking the least crimes. And that's the system that they've implied, that they've put in here in the books here in America, and that they're using, and that they're really going to really get into it. That's why when you read the previous chapter, the devil's come down having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. All right, so going back to Psalms, it says 124:7, our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers. Right, because they're hunters. But they're hunters in the sense of, physically dealing with animals, and cunningly dealing with the legislation that they pass and the different situations that they put Jake into, where they have no other remedy. They have no other form of recourse. They have no way around it but to go through the man that is setting them up in the first place. Because most Jakes really ain't got it like that. So they're subjected to, these devils and their the things, pretty much the things that they put into place. You know, that's why in Revelation 12 it said that they would feed them, you know, for a particular period of time. But then there's going to come a time where now the dragon wants to be fed, and he's going to be calling in these debts. All right. So, all right. The elder bishop Tazadakba put it up. The 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution provides that neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, right, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. This word here is key. Jurisdiction is key, you know, in their endeavors. Because when you look up the word jurisdiction, it says the official power to make legal decisions and judgments. The extent of power to make legal decisions and judgments. A system of law courts, judicature. So pretty much it's the force that they have when you sign these contracts to agree to the terms of that contract. So once you, let's say you have a line drawn in the sand, and they say if you could stay on that side, as long as you stay on that side, you're good. But once you cross onto this side, now you're in my realm. And that's pretty much what this legislation is about. This is where jurisdiction comes into play. And when you sign these contracts, what you're pretty much signing is an agreement to follow and abide by the rules and regulations that these devils have put up. You see, because when you really understand the whole game, which it goes deep into it, you know, these rules and regulations that they're pushing on the people really only extend to 10 miles within the DC area. You know, that's really specific to that. That's why you have around the American flag in these courts, you have a yellow fringe, which is a representation of Admiralty maritime law, which is the law of the high seas, which doesn't apply on land, you know. But they got a whole system set up that way, you know. So going back to Psalms, it says our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers. The snare is broken and we are escaped, right? So whatever these devils have, the Lord is going to cause the elect to escape from it. He's going to break the chains. You know, he's going to be like, unchain my heart. Salaki, I couldn't resist. I just saw the, you know, when you be surfing through the channels and that movie Ray came out, that's a bad movie, man. So, you know, he said that, unchain my heart, which is what? The mind. And that's what Esau has. That's why it says, if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them that believe not, which pretty much is what? Chaining the minds of the ones that are not a part of the elect with the shackles of Esau's treachery. Then it goes on to say, this is the most heaviest part. Our help is in the name of the Lord, all caps, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, who made heaven and earth. And that's how we're going to escape, through the names of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. The name of the Lord is a strong tower, the righteous runneth into it and is safe. Psalms 91, Revelation 3. You know, there's a whole bunch. Yep, that's it, like the elder Tadadakba said. Netflix 13th documentary filmmaker Ava DuVernay explores the history of racial inequality in the United States. Yeah, it's a very good documentary. I might go back and watch it again, focusing on the fact that nations' prisons are disproportionately filled with African American, which are really Jakes, Judah, and so-called Latinos too. You know, but you know, she's speaking specifically of the tribe of Judah. All right, so going back, Genesis 25:29, and Jacob sowed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage. See, that same red pottage. For I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom, which is what? Adawam. which means red. This is where he gets his name from the color of his skin. Aishah or Aishashwa, wasted away is he. Edom Adawam, which is red. And it should be Adawam for red, just like it is here for the name Edom. Because his name was called Edom because he ate of this red pottage, right? So we have the word Adawam here. They should have put the same word there, Adawam. All right. So let's see what else we got. And Jacob says, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he sware unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. So at this point, what did he do? He acquiesced his right to the birthright of the firstborn. The word acquiesce acquiesce. Okay, it's ACQ. That's a hard word. Accept something reluctantly but without protest. Right. So he pretty much gave up his right. Why? Because he was hungry. So when you acquiesce, it says accept something reluctantly but without protest. That's why he said what? He said, Jacob said, swear to me this day, and he sware unto him, and he sold him his birthright. He sold his birthright unto Jacob. Let's see. Okay, right here. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? So he acquiesced, without protest, reluctantly, but without protest, because what? He was in a position where he showed no integrity. Acquiescence in law, acquiescence occurs when a person knowingly stands by without raising any objection to the infringement of their rights, right? Because that was his right to begin with. But spiritually, it was really Jacob's right. So when Jacob got the birthright, no matter how he got it, that was all set up that way. You see? Because you have people that have a problem with that. Oh, he was a thief, he was a liar, but that's how the Lord set it up. Regardless of what you call it. It's called prophecy. It says, while someone else unknowingly and without malice or forethought acts in a manner inconsistent with their rights. Pretty much. Genesis 25:34. Matter of fact, I read 33 again. And Jacob says, swear to me this day, and he sware unto him. See, swearing back then wasn't like it is today. A man's word was his bond. And he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Let's go to the word despised. Because when you read, I'm not sure if that's Exodus 13, he that openeth the womb, that it belongs to the Lord. That's who the birthright belongs to. So the word despise is the word bazah. Bazah, to despise, hold in contempt, disdain. Right. He had no regard or any honor for his birthright. To despise, regard with contempt, to be despicable, to be vile, worthless. And that's Esau. He's a vile and worthless person. That's why the Apostle Paul said that in the book of Hebrews. Okay. Let's go back there real quick. Hebrews 12 and 16. It says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau. Profane person is pretty much the same thing as a vile person, someone that's outside of the temple. Why are they outside of the temple? Because they're vile and despicable. So it's one word. Profane person is bebelos. Accessible, lawful to be trodden, right, of places profane. Unhallowed, right, unholy. Because why? They are the wicked. Common, public place of men, ungodly. See, they're ungodly. So who in the hell are you to question the Most High's authority? Yeah, because in Romans 9, Right. Let's just go straight to the point. Romans 9:19. Thou wilt say then unto me, why doth he yet find fault? For who has resisted his will? No one has resisted the will of the Most High. All right. Nay, but oh man, who art thou that replies against the Most High? Yeah, because these people are saying, you know, are you saying God's going to make one guy to be good and the other one? Yes. He creates evil. But I bet you they'll try to put a spin to that. Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? Right, because the Most High made you like that, fool. You know, the Most High made you that way. So who the hell are you to talk shit about them, you know, to the Most High? Shut your pie hole. You know? It says, have not the potter power over the clay? Who's the potter? The Most High, Yahweh. He has the power over the clay. Who's the clay? That is the two boys that came out of the loins or the lump or the sperm of Isaac. And from that sperm, he created two vessels. All right? One was named Jacob, the other was named Esau. One was righteous, the other was wicked. What if the Most High, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? They were the vessels of wrath. It tells us in Proverbs chapter 16 that and 4, the Lord hath made all things for himself, right? Because this is the Most High's movie. Who the hell are you to pop up and say anything to the Most High? You know? You know, mind your manners. You know, keep thy mouth, thy foot, when you come into the house of the Lord. All right, sucker. It says, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. So the Most High created them to be destroyed. They are the wicked. They playing their part. I was with Apostle Gabar yesterday. He said the Most High made a perfect devil. Say, yep, because we were talking about this devil, Pope Francis. This devil is apologizing to the natives for the harsh treatment and slavery, all that crap. And this mother floater had a nerve to have on one of those headdresses, one of them Gadite headdresses. I said, you see that? And the Apostle Gabar said, hey, well, you know what? The Most High made the perfect devil. And that's true. All right, so going back to Romans 9:23, and that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy. Right. So from these, because we're talking about, who are we talking about here? We're talking about the two Chirins, right? Romans 9:13, matter of fact 12, it was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. So this whole argument that the Apostle Paul is breaking down here is based off of Jacob and Esau. Going down here, it says, what if the Most High, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endure with much long suffering with the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? Why? Because the Lord used the same lump to create two vessels of clay, so to speak, and he made one vessel unto honor and another vessel unto dishonor. Righteous, wicked. Makes sense to me. Down to 23, and that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy, which is who? Jacob, the Israelites. This is what the Apostle Paul's whole argument was all about. Going all the way back to these two children that were born of Isaac. Why? Because the promise was that the Lord told Abraham that through his seed, he's going to bless his seed among all these different nations. And that promise came to rest in Jacob. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Everybody else came close, but no cigar. It says, even us whom he hath called, not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles, the Israelite foreigners. All right? And that goes into a whole nother topic. So, pretty much with that, He was vile and worthless, to cause to despise, because he despises what? Birthright. Let's look up this word birthright and we close it out there. The word there is baka warah. Baka warah. Right. Birthright. Primogeniture, which is first birth. Right of the firstborn. Bottom line. All right. So he gave up that birthright. All right. So this pretty much has been the segment of Esau being that hunter. And when you look up the 30 top hunters, 28 of them are Edomites, and one of them is Elam, and the other one is either Gad or Reuben. But the majority of top hunters on the planet are Edomites. So with that, I pray that you brothers and your few sisters have been edified. To the next time I say, Shalom.